Don't you love it when things are both easier and more affordable? Like when the rain washes your car for you. Or like when you save up to 10% by bundling your renters and auto insurance with USAA. Bundle with USAA and start saving. Get a quote today.
When you think about your future, you know what calls to you. Meaningful work, happiness, growth, and sharing these values with others. But how will you find all of that? There are many paths forward, including one you may not have considered. The military provides countless opportunities to pursue your calling, where you can be part of something bigger than yourself, while still being yourself, and having the future you want. You have a calling, we have an answer. Learn more at todaysmilitary.com.
Hey guys, it's Bobby Roast Beef here with another episode of Jigs and Friggin' Bigs. I'm coming to you live from Lake St. Clair in Michigan with Todd Sefton, and I got a Who the Fuck is Joe Brown joining us. You guys don't want to miss this show. We have lots to talk about. Results from the first Slot Limit Tournament Series event that happened just this weekend. You guys go ahead and stay tuned. We've got more Jigs and Bigs coming up right after this. Hey guys, welcome to Jigs and Bigs. I got Who the Fuck is Joe Brown with us. I got Todd Sefton with us.
What's up, everybody?
And I got to tell you guys, this show, this episode, this journey getting here has been unbelievable. And this show is going to sound a little bit different because right at the 0 hour, the shit hit the fan when I brought out the good stuff to record a podcast. Oh my God. And I have no time to really do anything with, so it is what it is, but we're gonna power through and make it happen. And this is gonna be an art of editing is what's gonna happen. So let's get down to business, okay? Joe, let's go through your fishy shit to get started, because I think I know what Todd's fishy shit is.
Oh yeah, dude. You guys have like a whole book to tell me when it's your turn. But yeah, man. So I got some fishing done this week. I picked up the boat from John, went out and hung out with him for a little bit. He did some stuff to the boat. Took it back, got out a couple times. Both local spots. The first spot I went to was rough. I could not find a fish to save my life. And then the next spot, I was talking to the jig heads a little bit. I got out and I was spotting fish, and I just couldn't get them to hit anything or to eat. They were there. I was scoping them and they would come up, look at it, and then just go right back down or whatever. Yep. And so I was just getting super frustrated, and I was telling them my go-to for this time, 50-degree water. I grab that jerk bait. And so I grabbed the jerk bait. I was throwing a Vision 110 and a Vision 110 plus one to kind of try to get it right above their heads. And dude, it was still they just were they weren't even, I got a swipe at it, but they just kind of were nosing at it and then kind of going back down to their spot. So I took a minute. I'm like, all right. I was like, I think there's two things that are going to fix this. So I ended up downsizing to the 110 Junior, and then I just slowed my retrieve down. I was giving them 7-second pauses. And once I did that, I started hooking into some fish, all Smallies. I lost a real nice one. That's the only thing about that 110 is the hooks are so small on it. You know what I mean? That
they just
everything. So once you downsize that, I don't know if he I saw his color. I saw him come up, and I was like, okay, this is like a 2.5-3 pound smallie. Yeah. And then he just gave me a real good head shake and just popped off. Yeah, he just shook it. But this was the spot that's right by my house, Bobby.
All right. Oh, okay.
So they've been getting I've been hearing of 3+ pound smallies coming out of there already this year. So it's crazy. Since we've been doing it, since I've been talking about that place last couple of years, I've been on the podcast, the largemouth or whatever, those are pretty good, but the smallie population there is really starting to grow, which is kind of crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I grabbed a couple with that, but it took me a little bit to figure it out, and I only had a few hours to play with yesterday, and it got real windy too. So I was kind of fighting the wind. And I mean, you guys, I'm throwing that 110, that light ass bait in the wind, so you guys know how that is. It's a effing nightmare sometimes. So you gotta be real you got to really pick and choose where you're casting, how you're casting and whatnot, be real methodical about it. But, other than that, dude, I thought about going out for a little bit today, decided since I'm not going to be home the next 2 weekends after this, I was like, all right, better spend some time with the family, do some stuff around the house. So I didn't hook up the boat today. I ended up, just working outside. And doing the Easter thing today, obviously, but yeah, man, now it's just getting the boat and everything ready to head down to Georgia. I leave for Georgia on Friday, so
that's awesome, dude. That's awesome, man. You're gonna have a great fucking time.
I hope so, dude, because that muddy water is not something I know, so it's gonna be.
Yeah, it's wild how different fishing, and we were talking about this today. The conditions that we had were just. I think to other parts of the country, and things can change immediately.
Yeah.
You go one state over, and you're just visibility is totally different.
Yep.
You're gonna have a fucking blast, dude, in Georgia. You definitely are.
Yeah, I can't wait, and I'm giving myself the full 3 days. I mean, it's 3 days of pre-fishing, then 3 full days of the tournament, so it's 6 straight days of fishing. So.
It's freaking badass, man. That is freaking badass. So I did a little bit of fishing this week. Todd did a little bit of fishing this week. It's pretty good.
About 18 hours?
I have to, between it, about 18 hours, actually. Pretty good.
I want to hear all about it. I want to hear all the deets. I saw some of the photos. I want to hear the details now.
It was wild, man. And it played out a lot like I kind of expected it to, as far as when it was going to be good. So, I'll go ahead and I'll start up. So the way it all started was I had left my house at 4 o'clock in the morning. I had gotten up at 3, got all my stuff together, made sure, checked all the, double checked everything and hit the road. It took me about 11 and a half, 12 hours to get here with stops on the way. Drove straight in. And I got here and it was 4:30?
4:22.
Oh, that's right. I rolled into the driveway at 4:22.
So did you end up going to Canada or no?
No, I didn't.
Okay, I didn't think so. The last we talked, you said you weren't.
So the New York Thruway had a non-renew on my registration for some tolls previously. I paid it, of course, and then they just haven't released it. So I haven't been able to get a renewed plate, get a brand new plate for the one that's missing. So I just opted to wait for the replacement I had put in for last month. And it should be here in the next few weeks. But so with that, I was like, I'm not going to try and cross the border with a temporary plate,
Sure.
So I made the drive. It was actually not bad at all. I didn't hit any traffic till I got to Buffalo. So it worked out really good. But I show up and my plan was I wanted to leave early enough because I just wanted to be able to get a little bit of time to pre-fish. And if really more than anything, know the launch that we were launching from so that at least we could really look at the map and figure that out there. And I got here, I was like, we've got a few hours before the sun goes down. Let's go ahead and send it. So we sent it. So we go to this ramp and we're in, this is what, Anchor Bay?
Yes.
So we're in Anchor Bay, that sort of northern bay of St. Clair, and we didn't leave it at all. Like, we didn't leave Anchor Bay. This lake is ridiculously large, and it's not even like one of the Great Lakes.
It's just the bay.
Yeah.
It's just the bay.
It's crazy. Like, so we get here, and there was a little bit of rain off and on, like on the way up here, and they were, initially there was talk of like a pop-up thunderstorm, and overnight the low was actually going to be really high. It only got to be like 61 degrees, like at overnight. Yeah. So I mean, there was a big change in pressure, and we were looking at this leading up to the trip, and we're just like, Saturday's going to get fucked. Is basically what is like. Saturday's conditions for us are going to be so different, but let's at least get an idea of the structure, try and figure it out. So our plan was to go and find what depth we were getting bid at, and then we could play around a little bit each way, like and try and anticipate where they might go. So we got out there, and in total, what did we put in the boat that day?
Five fish. Yeah, 5 fish.
All smallmouth. You go ahead and tell them about the one that is fucking awesome.
Oh, my 20? Yeah.
So before, do you guys know what the water temp is there right now?
Yeah, curious. We had no idea what the water temp was at all.
Okay.
No, like no fucking electronics. And
Right.
We didn't really have any conversations with other anglers that were on. Like, we saw the first day, I don't think we had anybody that was fishing anywhere really near us.
Sure.
I think we had in fact, I think we might have even been the only boat trailer in the entire parking lot for that ramp.
I think you're right.
It was, I was like, I was really kind of surprised, but I'm like, it's Friday, it's a holiday weekend. Like, maybe, I don't know, maybe this isn't the day. But the fishing report that we had watched on YouTube for this weekend really hyped it up. So I would think like there were some people that were out, looking, although, you know what, it might have just been most people out looking for walleye, and you weren't going to find them necessarily up here. So
these guys weren't fishing for walleye.
St. Clair River was 42. So our Canadian koala friend is saying 46 probably. It's like, that's a good estimation. I would say mid 40s, maybe even 50, because it was pretty sunny on Friday. Like, we had more sun than I expected.
Friday was like the peak. Like, it warmed up all week until Friday. Friday was the high day, and then that cold front came in on Saturday and knocked everything down.
It just hit 50 here yesterday. Barely.
Oh,
like, as I was on the water, it hit 50, yeah.
No shit. And it was like, it bounced up and then a little bit down. Like, I was talking with Sean a couple of weeks ago. He was like, it's just about 50 degrees. I'm like, holy shit. Way warmer than I would expect, but
sure.
And also, like, it does depend, like the body of water and stuff like that. There's a lot of that can vary. So we get out there, and it wasn't 15 minutes, and I hooked into that first one.
Right. Yeah. The perch color.
Yep. And that's
on a crankbait.
And that's how I was like, okay, so we're gonna stick with this, and we started working on trying to figure out some kind of a pattern. And I'd say we nailed it.
The first day, yes, we 2 hours. It was awesome.
And we used a similar profile and a similar color with different uses. So, like, there was at one point I was dragging like a wobblehead jig on the bottom, because up here, like where we were, it was just like these huge flats, and then there'd be a random hole that would drop like 2 or 3 feet. Yeah, and there's a lot of sandy bottom. And very, very little grass. And what we found, and you get like rock piles and stuff that would pop that you go up on and stuff, and then stumps. But it was like there were just massive areas of just nothing but sand. And I called it largemouth that first day. I was like, you gotta be kidding me! Just cranking along a wobblehead jig on the bottom like a crankbait, and freaking smoked it. I was like, all right, this is cool. We get a little variety. That's right, they weren't all smallmouth that day. I did catch that largemouth.
You did catch a largemouth.
Goofy looking largemouth. It was a goofy looking largemouth. I got a pictures. It's going to be in the YouTube video.
Was it a mean mouth?
That's what I said.
I thought about that, but
he checked the tongue. There was no teeth.
Yeah,
no tooth patch.
Very, very weird. Very weird. So, I mean, it was a good day. We were feeling pretty good about it. Todd hooked into an absolute giant.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That 20 was unbelievable. Like, unbelievable.
That was
yeah.
Fish. The first one, as soon as you found out the perch pattern, I threw on a crankbait, perch pattern, first cast, banged one. That one was like, what, 16, 17?
Yeah, it was like a 16, I think.
And then maybe 5 casts later, that 20 hit. And that was fucking awesome.
He was so hyped, dude. Like,
awesome,
Todd is a chill guy, but like, he's wicked chill. And then he was just like, fucking yeah. Like, it was fucking great, dude.
Hell yeah.
It pumped me up a little bit.
So we fished for a little bit. Like, we kind of toyed around some different depths and stuff. And we're like, all right, it starts getting dark. We're like, let's go ahead. We'll load up. We load up the boat. We come back here. You know, when you're in an area that's got a cuisine that's, you know, kind of made them a little bit famous.
Yeah.
We had to go and get some Detroit style pizza, to which we ended up, after looking through a bunch of apps and Googling places and stuff, everybody seemed to close at like 9 p.m. Like, by the time we got back, it was like 8:40. So some of these places online wouldn't even let us put in an order because it was just that close. So we ended up, there's a liquor store called Buscemi's that's up here, like Steve Buscemi.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
my eyes right now. Steve Buscemi. Well, so they're like, they sell everything, you know, all kinds of stuff, and they do pizza and subs. So we ordered a pizza, and you could get a square pie. And I would say it was the best liquor store pizza I've ever had.
Was it your first liquor store pizza?
It 100% was. Like, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't bad at all. It was just, what do you call it?
Filler.
It wasn't authentic Detroit style.
It was not.
Yeah, that's and from a Michigander himself, we got the scoop on what the deal is. So we're gonna have to. I'm gonna call the flag on the play, and we'll try. You know what I mean? But I'm telling you, I think Buscemi's is a staple that needs to be everywhere. This isn't at the fault of. I get it. They're trying to sell you nips of Fireball.
Sure.
They're secondary ideas. You know, the pizza might get you in the door, maybe. You know, I don't know. Anyway, so we were, you know, with the tournament starting at 8, we didn't have to like get up crazy early or anything like that.
Right.
And it was actually, for some reason I thought I was going to be a time zone over, and I was like, holy shit, no, this is Eastern time zone. So we get out to the launch for about like 7:15 or so, and launch the boat, get everything ready. We have our plan, but we're willing to adapt, knowing what the hell's going to happen. And dude, I was so convinced that I was going to fuck this up so badly, and I wasn't going to catch a damn thing. And so I went into this truly with absolutely no like expectation at all.
Sure.
I put a fish on the board.
Hell yeah.
I'm not in last place. No, you're not in last place. I'm not talking of the people who who entered fish. I'm not in last place. I say that because as far as the tournament goes, we had 20 entries. You know, we had 20 anglers in there, and there were a couple, I know, Hunter, and there was one other one, I believe, that weren't able to. Oh, it was Nate, and we got an email from Nate, and I'll talk about that in a second. But they were not able to fish. Actually, Hunter kind of had a little serious situation. He said he had to go to the ER, so he wasn't going to be able to fish. So I hope everything's good with Hunter. We just had him,
Bobby.
Yeah.
Can I talk about my slot limit tournament debacle and blunder? All right, so
flag on the play.
Another flag on the play. The red card. Yeah. 15-yarder. So
I wasn't gonna say anything.
I'm gonna say it. So I wasn't sure if I was gonna be able to fish Saturday. Because, you know, again, like I said, I'm going to be in Georgia the next 2 weekends. So I was like, all right, Meg's definitely going to want me to be home this weekend. And but she was doing some girly things with my daughter, so I was like, she's like, yeah, go out. I was like, perfect.
Oh.
So I was in it. So it was like shit, like 7:30, and I was like, fuck yeah. I was like, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get in the tournament, the slot tournament, and I'm gonna at least try to get onto some. I get onto Fishing Chaos. I'm like, huh. Well, let me hit the button to register. It's like, that's weird. Let me text Bobby. Text Bobby. Bobby, for some reason I can't register. Yeah, Joe, that's because registration ended at 8 p.m. last night. I was like, motherfucker. So now I know that I would have just, if I knew that, I would have just taken the gamble and just friggin', registered. I put the board back in my boat, everything. I was like, let's do this. Got onto a couple fish. So I was,
how would you have done? Like 16 and 17, or between that 12 and 17 inch window.
Oh no, I wouldn't even have been close. I was only out for a few hours, so I wouldn't even have. And I did, like I said, I didn't figure out the fish until like the last 45 minutes I was out there. Yeah. So no, I wouldn't have got skunked. You know what I mean? Like I would.
I'll bet you did better than me. I'll bet you did.
I'll tell you that one that I lost, that would have been, when I saw it come up, Bobby, that definitely would have been the largest smallie I've ever taken out of that body of water.
Oh yeah, I believe it.
So yeah, so we're gonna have to go out there. But anyway, continue. Sorry, I interrupted.
So I get a fish on the board, and this was one where this is the weirdest shit. So we get out and we're fishing the depth that we initially were. Again, going back to the baseline, that was the idea. So we go back to the baseline, we start covering water there. We give it about 45 minutes, and we're like, all right, we're not getting any bites here. We're throwing the same presentations. We've downsized a little bit. We've slowed a little bit. We've changed things, but we're looking for that same kind of bite. We couldn't figure it out. So we tried a couple of different spots that had looked juicy on the map, and they didn't turn up. Eventually, we decided, and you come into play, Joe, with this. We're like, okay, so obviously this weather pushed them. It probably didn't push them too far, but which direction? And I was like, that's right. Joe ran into this before, and he was like, oh, they must have gone up. And he never went, if they went down. That's when I hooked that 16, was when we went back down to, what was it, 11 feet.
Yeah, we split the difference.
Yeah,
we started where we caught them on Friday, and then we went deeper. We weren't getting them deeper, and we're like,
that's exactly what it was. So, yeah, I guess we would have went, what, we went like 13?
I think we went 14.
14, yeah, something like that.
Still no bite.
So we went back in. We hit them like at 11. I was like, holy shit, this is great. And I thought, we looked at each other like we figured it out.
I'm like, he's a fucking genius.
Jenga, you know what I mean? Like, we were thinking we were a big deal. This was at like 11:30.
Yeah,
noon,
I think
maybe?
It was before noon.
Yeah, it was like, and
sure.
So we still had enough time. We're just like, oh, this is done. We got 4. All we got to do is just fucking chuck and wind. We're good.
I'm just happy that my complete stupidness came to help you in the end, Bobby.
It was good. It was a highlight. It was getting that text from you, Joe. I was just like, you gotta be kidding me. Because every time I would see the number go up on Fishing Chaos of like, and Benny and I would be talking, and he'd be like, oh dude, yeah, we're up to 17 now. That's pretty good. And I was like, yeah, well, every time I would go look, I'm like, Joe registered. Nope. I was like, maybe he's not available.
Oh God. I'm so now, dude, now I'm just gonna do it no matter what, and if I can't fish, I can't fish. Like it is what it is. You know what I mean? But
it's funny. I had a conversation with Tim Jakes, and I was thinking, like, if you have a tournament or something, like, I get it.
Yeah.
I am curious about this because it is a different format of tournament. Catch, photo, release.
Yeah,
and the when you're doing a live well tournament, like, if you're, let's say you're in the multi-species scavenger hunt, or even in the slot limit, right? And you catch a bass, right?
Yeah.
And you have that, and you're going to enter it. like, how much time do you think it takes to put it down on the board and snap a picture for that? You know, and then
I've done it. I've done it for the multi-species.
I say this because I was talking with Tim, and he was like, yeah, he's like, you know, I think it's his partners kind of get to him, like when he's in the partner tournaments, and they're like, you're wasting time doing this instead. Like,
sure.
So I understand that, but I'm like, I wonder if that's what the holdback is on some of the tournament from the big boat side of the game. Yeah. If there's just like, nah, I don't want to deal with the catch photo release, but
yeah, it's tough because when there's like big money on the line, you feel like you need every second, you know what I mean? Yeah. So that I can understand. And I can understand the partner one, but like, you know, a couple of years ago when I was doing the multi-species while I was doing tournaments, I had, Ryan Anderson was my partner that year. Yep. So he was all for it. So he'd be, he'd grab the board, we'd measure it and throw it in, and then throw it in the live well. And that was kind of before like, I when I was learning the whole multi-species thing, I forgot that I could take the photo and then upload it later on. Like I thought like at the time, there was a time where I was like, I don't have the time to sit here, take a photo of this, get on my phone, upload it. By the way, some of the tournaments I do, I'm not even allowed to be on my phone. You know what I mean? So that's a part that gets like the big ABA one, stuff like that. I can't do that, but yeah.
Yeah, I guess I didn't even really realize that. That's kind of crazy. Huh. But so Eli chimes in and he goes, I need to get a catch board. Yes, Eli, you definitely.
Yes, you do.
You would love this shit. So
because Eli catches fish too.
He does. He catches fucking tons of fish.
I see him out there. I see you, Eli.
We had gone through the rest of the day, and I don't think we got another bite.
You lost a...
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Pike.
We're calling it a pike, Joe.
Well, I mean, do they have pickerel there?
No, but they do have a fish of 10,000 casts.
Oh.
I didn't see it. He hooked it, lost it, and
it was a muskie, wasn't it, Bobby?
It was. We're calling it a pike, Joe.
I think it might have been a muskie. For sure.
We're gonna call it a brown pike, all right? That's what we're gonna call it. It was a fucking...
That was like that time I was out with that's like that time I was out with Bill and he lost that fish. I was like, dude, that was definitely your PB.
Yes, totally.
So that was your muskie.
I think those lines on it were vertical, weren't they?
I don't know. I'm an old man with Steve Buscemi eyes. So, this was wild, man. I was throwing around a 4-inch swim bait, right? Mm-hmm. And this fish hit, and it was just like all of that rod just loaded right up. And this wasn't anything like an impressive size fish. It was probably between 20 and 25 inches, right? Nothing crazy at all, but would have been potentially my first muskie.
Sure.
And it hit so hard, and I'm fighting it along the way, and it was up against the boat, and then just nicked my line, took right off. Yeah. I saw it with my own eyes. I was like, holy shit. Now, the thing that killed me was that because we had rain off and on in the morning,
sure,
I didn't run the GoPros at all. I didn't run them at all.
Yeah, it's sketchy. It's scary.
Because, with the mics and stuff. So I may be looking to get some of those little umbrellas that Binya uses because I totally see the value in it. Yeah. I was like, and I wish I would have. That's if there's a regret from this entire trip, it's that I don't have that moment of like, fuck. Because where I was up on the casting deck, like the shot would have been ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
I want to unpack this bag.
Send me the link,
Bobby. I want to unpack this bag. Did you get a good look at it?
I got a great look at it. Look at it.
Was it a muskie?
I don't want to use the M word, man. we'll get past it.
Are you done fishing, or you guys going out again?
No, this is it. Yeah, we got
home tomorrow.
Clean up and head home tomorrow. But
all right, all right.
It was. I'll tell you, man. It was a wild day. So there was that fish. I managed to get one on the board, which is great. But it was a grind.
It was a grind.
And it was a challenge. It was a challenge to catch them. We got off the water and we're like, fuck it, man. We deserve steaks after this. So Todd hits the grill and makes these 2 porterhouses that are just out of this world. I roasted some potatoes, caramelized some onions, and we had a couple of beverages, and it was a good time.
Let's have a conversation real quick.
Okay.
This is a dinner conversation that happened today.
Oh, really?
What,
okay.
What constitutes a caramelized onion?
Onion? Oh. I think there's 2 things that you need to have. I think you have to have some degree of darkening brown color.
Sure.
Some degree, all right? And it has to have a texture that is almost like scrambled eggs.
So does adding an ingredient is what make it a caramelized onion, or is it just cooking it that certain way?
Low and slow, it's just fat and it's a little salt and pepper. That's it, really. Why?
I lost that argument.
Joe, don't tell me you were like taking the Hershey's caramel and fucking putting it on onions.
No, but I usually put, a little bit of, sometimes I sprinkle a little bit of brown sugar and stuff in there, and I'm like, that's what makes it a caramelized onion. And Meg's like, no, it's just if you like brown it and stuff. I was like, I do all the cooking in this house, lady. You don't know what you're talking about, but apparently
that sounds more like onion jam.
Good.
And I'm here for that, dude. I know a thing.
Yeah.
This is fucking wild. I'm getting promo codes from Binya. Oh my god! Slow cooking the natural sugars, caramelizing them.
Candied. Oh.
I don't know. I'm not against it, man. I'm not against it. When it comes to food, I'm wide open to it.
I'm dying on that hill and telling Meg that you guys agreed with me.
Yeah. Sounds a little bit of brown sugar, a little bit of something. That's amazing. So we today we knew this was coming. The low last night was 38.
It was in the 30s. I don't know right offhand.
That's a big swing.
A major swing. We got out there this morning and it was just 40 when we launched the boat. And we had really, really clear skies, like a lot of sun overhead. I don't know if you can tell. I did take my hat off successfully without losing a microphone this time to get a little bit of color on my head. But you can see I still got the two-tone going, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's bad. But, yeah, we had clear skies today, far less wind, like infinitely less wind. And though we had some moments where it would kick back up and it would get a little bit choppy. But we sent it and we're like, you know what we haven't done? We haven't gone from the launch. And then the night prior, we were out, standing over by the water and we're looking, there's all of these like little piers coming out with like all of these pylons just lined up all over. There's all this cover, Yeah. We should come down and check this out and all the seawalls and stuff and then the rocks in between. So we're like, yeah, we should come and check this out. Let's do it. So we made a run down here and we fished pretty much all the way up. You caught your first largemouth actually on some of this structure.
Yeah, we went up. Well, right over here.
That's right. It was like a cabin down.
3 docks down.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. It was. I pretty much landed right on its head. As soon as it hit the water, it was on.
Yep.
That was a good one. That was a 15.
And that
what was it on?
That was on a 1/8 ounce ball head.
Okay.
With a 2.8
That's right.
contact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. And it was that pattern. So I was like, this is it, yo, fucking got it, yeah. So I'm like, I'm getting all hyped up because I'm like, this is the day after the tournament. So everything here should be great.
Right.
I want to check my notes because I did take notes. You know, I think about these things for you guys. So we
You
talked
were
about.
thinking it was going to be a shit day
I really.
starting out, but it was cold. Bluebird skies, cold morning. But
it ended up. It was just one of those things where. So we kept going. We kept grinding and grinding and grinding. And on the way down to where we started with all the seawall stuff, we
picked up the largemouth.
We saw that there was this one little off of this point, this nice steep edge, this drop off. And we're like, all right, let's fucking send it. Let's go and do that. So we got to a point where like, okay, he had caught that one largemouth and we had seen other fish. We saw a drum. It was also ridiculously clear. Like today I threw primarily BFS stuff. And dude, the Daiwa Tatula is a buttery smooth reel.
That's awesome.
It put in some of the most work today. That's coming later. You guys.
Okay.
So we go and we fish out at this one spot on this point, and I was starting to doubt the pattern. You know, I realized that's where it kind of turned, and I put on an electric shad. Same size, larger size actually. And I started throwing that swim bait around and I got a tap. I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. See what happens. So I cast back out in this area and I start swimming it back, you know, and I hook up with a yellow perch. I took and I measured and was 7 1/4 inches. Not enough for the freaking multi-species scavenger hunt. I'm like, you son of a bitch.
Yep.
But this is good. Now I'm like, well, wait a minute. That's a bite. And this, I was like, are we working on something? What's going on here? And I figured, I was like, I'm going to throw that. I have that same color in a smaller size. I'm going to downsize a bit and see if I can get more bites just to see what happens. So I throw that. I get another tap. I make another few casts. I don't get it. I said, okay, I have the same color in like a short minnow style, like a drop shot bait. I put that on, hook into another yellow perch. This one is 8 inches and made the minimum. It was 8 1/4. So I'm like, that's awesome. That's another point. So I got a smallmouth entered. I got the yellow perch entered. Like, this is great. We fished our ass off. We decided after that bite kind of slowed, and you know, we're not here to catch 8-inch yellow perch all day long. So we're like, let's move on. You know, we'll see what we can do. So we're looking to catch some big smallmouth is really it. Yeah. And then we got up to that flat and I made a change shortly after we got there. I was like, wait, this is where that, we'll call it a pike, hit that bladed jig. And I figured, I was like, oh, well, I'm gonna not the bladed jig. Yeah, I'm gonna throw a bladed jig now and try to target that bite. Maybe I can elicit a reaction strike in some of the weedy areas. Because once we rolled up on those weeds, I was like, oh, this is nice. This might be a good spot. So I start throwing that around to no avail. And I ultimately was like, just for shits and giggles, I had this on my jig rod. I had a swim jig tied on, a 1/2-ounce swim jig with a 5-inch swim bait. Like, again, that big presentation. And I'm like, maybe the blade is just a little bit too much. Let's go with something a little bit more subtle. And again, I like a swim jig because it has 2 actions. It's got the paddle tail, the trailer action, and then the skirt, you know? But it's subtle. It's like there's no vibration, anything like that. So I start fishing this thing. We get up to this one spot, and I said, look, there's all this stuff over here that just looks so juicy with these like laydowns and stuff. Let's go fish that. Let's go and try it and see what's up. And we go up to this. It was like a bar that was, it looked like they had like docking that wasn't.
It was old docking. It wasn't up. It wasn't kept up.
Yeah. So it's just all these like, all this cover is just all over here.
Yeah.
So as we're rolling up to it, I'm making casts. And I get a bump on this swim jig, and I make a cast right back out there, and I get fucking slammed, dude. And I'm like, oh shit, this is probably a good Smallie. That's awesome, you know? And I'm like, the rod is just bent over. I'm like, holy shit. And I'm like,
It happened like that too. It was close.
it was so fast. And it didn't ever breach the surface. And it kind of turned over. And we both saw the belly and we're like, oh yeah, it must be a fucking smallmouth. Todd grabs the net, fucking nets this fish, puts it in. It was a 19-inch steelhead that hit a half-ounce swim jig. Now,
that's pretty awesome.
I want to say to the jig heads and everybody that's in here, I did enter that steelhead as a rainbow trout in the multi-species scavenger hunt. To my understanding, they're the same species with, let's call it, a different lifestyle.
It still
Steelhead.
had the rainbow colors.
Yeah.
It was.
What is going on in the comments over here? This is great. Team Tatula. Oh yeah. Team Tatula, 100%. So I'm throwing. I get a picture. Let me back up. I did enter this as a rainbow trout. If anybody that's in the scavenger hunt has an issue with it, reach out to me. I am more than willing to deny that fish in the scavenger hunt. But I was like, I'm measuring it. I'm going to do my homework and make a decision and figure it out. If somebody has an issue, you guys tell me, I will deny it. So we're fired up now like crazy. Like now I'm thinking we've unlocked Pandora's box. And we start fishing all of the structure. And we came up on some fish that we saw just like chilling. You even said they look kind of like catfish.
I thought they were catfish, but they were only maybe 15, 20, they were under 20 inches. They
weren't big fish, not at all. But we're like, oh, that's kind of interesting. You know, how's this work? And we couldn't get them to move for shit. We threw a bunch of stuff. Hold on a second. I got to see this. John just chimed in. He says, I've been meaning to ask for a while now because I've gone up steelhead fishing. They are rainbow trout, but they're lake run. I've been meaning to ask if they're illegal for the tourney myself. I would personally allow it. Moving forward, I think I'm going to try to look to have rainbow and steelhead put in there, or it may be a separate designation for steelhead. I don't know if that's even an option. But it's something that I would definitely consider because that is one that specifically is a really close call. It totally is. It's a really close call species-wise. I know that they tend to get larger than most rainbows.
That was a nice fish.
That was a really nice fish. That was a big, big fish.
All right.
So,
do you want to hear the scientific definition of steelhead and rainbow?
Yes.
Steelhead and rainbow trout are the exact same species. Scientifically known as blah, 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 long Latin name I can't say. But they have different life histories or life cycles. Rainbow trout typically remain in fresh water their entire lives, while steelhead are anadromous, meaning they migrate to the ocean and then return to fresh water to spawn. Just lifestyle choices. That's the only difference between a steelhead and a rainbow.
It's like I said, so I was right. It is a lifestyle.
Those steelhead be rocking that upside down pineapple, know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, that's true. Oh, so we go and we continue fishing around this area. We got really, really shallow. Like I had to take the collar on my trolling motor and hike it way up. Like it was way up. So I'm like,
yeah.
We got super shallow. We stumbled on this giant rock pile, like in a pretty much this huge stump field. And we fished around there. We decided we would go back where that steelhead was. And we fished all of that old dock material. Yeah. And Todd got your next fish, right?
I picked up another largemouth right there in between the two docks.
That was a good one.
That was decent. He hit a couple times, and then it was like the third cast in, he picked it up. And I got him.
Yeah.
And that was my last fish for the day.
Yeah.
I only caught two today, but at least I caught a couple.
That's, absolutely.
Another skunk day, I would have been boo-hooing.
So we had from that point we were like, all right, so we'll work this place, as much as possible. That kind of dried up afterwards. We started moving back. We're getting closer to launch now, and there was this dude in this boat. It was like it looked like an old 80s Bayliner with like advertisements on the sides.
Yeah.
It was kind of funky looking. And we're watching him. I don't know if he was like launching on his own, and it was windy as shit, so that would have sucked.
He handled it. He ended up pulling it off pretty good. I was surprised.
I think he was just there for a while. This is really, really what it was. It was just kind of weird. So we go and we're sort of like, well, we'll wait for him to get cleared out before we go, and we'll just fish over here. I pick up my BFS combo, the new one, that Ben Key rod. This is the actual ultralight rod with the Daiwa on there. And I'm like, I picked that up because I was like, it'd mean the world to me to hook something on this new combo today. Just to break it in so I can really get an idea of like, what's this drag like, if it pulls drag, if what I catch pulls drag. How does the rod behave under load when you're bringing a fish in? And I got the opportunity, Joe, to test this to the same limits I've tested my other BFS combo.
That's great.
Almost exactly. Except in a way, I would say, almost exactly. Because I tied my PB for smallmouth on that combo, like last freaking cast of the day, random, like tossing a swim bait over toward this rock pile that was off of the launch. And like a few cranks of the wheel in, and then bang, I just got hammered.
Yep.
Pulled some drag. This is like 4-pound test leader. Like it's fucking intense.
That one. Yeah.
Ultralight rod. So that's why I felt like an absolute giant. It measured at 4 pounds 1 ounce.
I thought it was 4.4, wasn't it? Or was it 4?
Oh, I thought it was 4.
Okay.
I thought it was 4.
You got a picture of it.
Yeah, that's right. I do have a picture of the what do you call it? The scale. Yeah. And it's in the video. I did record a shit ton of video today. So all that, there's going to be a really good video coming. And yeah, this was an absolute giant. I did enter that one just to upgrade my smallmouth, or I don't think I officially entered it yet, but I will for sure be doing it. And it was an absolute beast. And today played out so unbelievably well. Like we just had a great time. And then we're like, all right, we'll come back, loaded up the boat, everything's cool. We come back in, and I made those hot honey ginger ale glazed pork chops.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
This is recipe I totally pulled out of my ass. I was just these things sound fucking delicious, and that's a recipe I'm going to sneak into the cookbook, I think, too.
There you go.
Fucking what an amazing week, dude.
You didn't mention anything about the other fish you lost today.
What was the other one that
It was another toothy critter.
Yeah, that one right at the hook set took my swim bait.
Pike?
Oh yeah, probably a pike. Probably. I didn't see this one at all. This was like a bomb cast, and like I set the hook, I felt the tug, and then it just like gone, and it came back clean, cut right off. Maybe a pike.
Maybe a pike. Maybe not a pike.
So it might have been a bull shark. Who knows?
Dude, my kids are still convinced that bull sharks are probably in the lakes around here.
Oh,
because they watched one fucking documentary, dude.
Yep.
That's about the bull sharks.
Like they're just going like salmon up these little creeks and tell them it's okay to fish for those sharks.
Yeah.
It's to allow that shit. Just don't use a drone. So yeah, it was dude, it was absolutely wild, man. We had a great meal. Here we are, technical difficulties and everything, but we're an hour away, and the jig heads seem like they're fucking having a good time. Bobby Brown Pike. Yes. Oh man, that's fantastic, Dave. Oh. And then we had a little bit of creativity earlier in the weekend. It was Saturday night. Yeah, it was Saturday night. It was after the tournament. So I want to go over like the tournament results, how that all kind of played out. So I immediately went and I started judging fish. And then what I usually do, the way I do these tournaments is I'll do at the end of them, I'll do the top three. Those are the ones that have to be done and verified in order for me to do anything else. And I only really go down as far as to where it could make a difference, like if there were fish that were in question or something, like it could make a difference. So I only made official like the first 4 places.
Yep.
We are paying out the first 3 places. So our top 3 are, let's do the whole thing. Let's find out where everybody, like I said, we had 20 anglers and only 12 of them entered fish. Jeremy Smith came in 12th place at 14.25 inches. Yours truly came in 11th place at 16.25. Our favorite Ginger Chode came in 10th place with 38.25 inches. Aaron Oldekirk came in at 40.5 inches in 9th place. Andy Dwyer came in at 8th place at 47.75 inches. Brody Davis, who was sort of on track to go for the Triple Crown on this one, came in at 7th place with 55 inches. Not too shabby. Then we get the top 6. We got Stephen Galloway, 79 inches on the nose. Matt Thayer, 5th place, 87.75 inches. John Thompson came in 4th with an official rating, an official count of 94 inches, dead to nuts. 3rd place winner is Steve Sell. Steve Sell has an official count of 100.25 inches. 2nd place for the Jigs and Bigs Midsummer Mayhem Nationwide Bass Tournament, the one and only Wolf of Walmart, Dave Urquhart, at 165 inches on the nose. In fact, Dave was a competitor who had some challenges uploading some fish, and he had reached out and said, hey, I might have a couple that were duplicates because I kind of freaked out when they didn't go through, and I think I might have entered the same picture. And I double-checked, and he did enter one picture extra. That was one duplicate that was in there, so we took that out, but it was even closer. And I say all this really just to build drama here for the big winner. The winner of the April slot limit tournament. I know I said Midsummer Mayhem, but I'm a moron, and I've got Steve Buscemi eyes. 222.75 inches. Binya Outdoors, the one and only Mike Hansen. Congratulations, Mike.
Good job,
excellent job, dude.
Good job, Mike.
You did awesome. It was unbelievable. And I say all that because at the end of this show, there's an Easter egg. If you're not easily offended, you should stick around for that. It's fucking good. But Binya fucking smoked it. And I went through, and I got to tell you, it is a pleasure to judge Binya's fish because his pictures are perfect almost every time. Unbelievable. Binya was fishing at the fish hatchery. That's actually exactly where he was. Yeah. They stock those brown bass. That's what it is. Home Lake, they my pets. What a weirdo. I love it though. I'm stoked. And I know Binya is a competitive guy. He loves this shit. And I know he is absolutely tickled with this win. So congratulations, dude. Good job. Freaking
job.
I love it. Am I forgetting anything? I don't know if I'm forgetting anything. I think we might have done. Oh, there is something that came in Saturday night. I got an email from Nate. And Nate said to us, he says, hi, I had to miss today due to work, but would love if you had a few more of these in the same format, maybe monthly. He says, it's so hard to find tournaments that are just 5 fish limit. I love your multi-species tournaments, but I just don't have enough of those species around me to get competitive, which I totally can understand, man, 100%. I would recommend trying the multi-species stuff, but I thought that was really awesome, man. Thanks, Nate, for the message. You're in luck because these slot limit tournaments will run April through October once a month. We're going to have a Saturday coming up. So I think it's going to be the last Saturday of the month is going to be in May. It's going to be the May one. I still have to set that up, but it's going to be really good. Wolf of Walmart says, you telling me I drove 4 hours to fish and Benya went into his backyard? And he says, hey, I had to drive 25 minutes. That's how it is with this. It really helps to know the body of water that you're at. And that's why I will die on this cross. When I go and I'm on a trip for one of these tournaments, and it's a terrible move because you have to figure it out there. It's awful. If I was a serious tournament angler, it would be bad news. Yeah, that bad, Joe? The 10 was too much. 5 would have been better. 10 was too much. That's creepy as hell. Like, especially at school. So there was something else this week that happened that was kind of crazy. And this is definitely going to turn the room a little bit. But there was a little bit of buzz on the social medias about a cheat in a local kayak tournament series. It was not, it was kind of shitty. Caught this post, and this is a guy who's been around a long time. His name's Noah, and he had registered for an event with a local kayak tournament trail, and this trail doesn't use an app to submit fish for the CPR tournament. They just show the photos to the tournament director is how they do it, and that's how the fish get judged. So apparently what had happened, and this is just the stuff that I got from Facebook, was that he had taken the identifier and taken a picture of it and removed the background and basically overlaid it on his hand for all of these fish. And there was something about these fish like that it must have like tipped off the judges, because when they went to ask about this, like all of a sudden there were no pictures.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things where, like, I mean, I strongly feel like this is a huge, like, pat on the back for the technology that's in these apps, because this could have been figured out so much sooner, you know? Because you actually have to send the picture to the device. Like the user can't lose it, you know? And it's crazy. So he admitted to cheating is what it was.
Yeah.
He admitted to it.
He had to get pressure to admit it. It didn't come easy.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I can only imagine what that's like, you know? But he did. He admitted to it. And, you know, I think that he's probably, I don't know if he's ever going to tournament fish again or even be able to, you know? That's hard to come back from.
From the way I don't know this person personally, never met him that I know of. From what I hear, it's like the type of person that's like, whatever, it wasn't a big deal, and we'll be back and trying to join tournaments next year. Trying, because he's
that's what I'm talking about.
Kicked out of many series now and no longer allowed to fish them for an indefinite amount of time. So
yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. But
he's a young kid, so
it sucks. I'll tell you, it's kind of like a letdown in a way, you know. It's like, wow, you know, like what I can only imagine, like what it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Poor decision.
Yeah.
Poor decision.
Bad decision. We got a couple of headlines.
Yes, we do.
Major headlines. And Joe, we're not going to have any fancy music for this, unfortunately, because of our.
That's okay. Let me get my handy dandy glasses since I struggled last week with reading. All right, so we've been having a fun little time here in the podcast, but I got to like kind of somber the moment a little bit.
Oh yeah.
This is, I'm sure everyone here has heard about this already, and we're actually going to be talking two incidents regarding boat accidents, specifically involving bass boats in our, two of our major tournament trails. So let's start off. We're actually going to start off with the MPFL one. So bass angler faces charges for boat crash during NPFL event. A report from the North Carolina Wildlife Resources Commission says angler Jesse Ayers, I'm very familiar with that name, who was competing in the fishing tournament, was reportedly traveling at speeds between 60 and 70 miles per hour at 7:16 a.m. near the Lake Norman State Park boat ramp when it struck the side of a fishing boat idling nearby. The collision threw both men in the water. Nearby boaters responded and pulled both Ayers and the local fishermen from the water. Both men were transported to a local hospital with non-life-threatening injuries for treatment. An investigation conducted by the Wildlife Commission determined operator inattention was the cause of the crash, and Ayers has been charged with careless and reckless operation of a motorboat, reports the Queen City News. The incident occurred on the opening morning of the National Professional Fishing League tournament held on April 16th to 18th. We're extremely grateful that this incident did not result in any severe injuries, said NPFL President Brad Fuller. Our primary concern is always for the health and safety of our anglers and anyone else using the water. We take boating safety extremely seriously. The crash occurred the same morning as another tragic boat crash during a Major League Fishing bass event tournament that we will speak to after this. The crash involved angler Flint Davis from the MLF. I'm not going to get into that. We're going to talk about it. So the cause and circumstance of the accident will continue to be investigated by North Carolina Wildlife Resources Commission and other appropriate authorities. According to a report from QC News and the Airedale County Sheriff's Office, 2 boats were involved in the crash. This is just describing the same crash. An emergency medical service, Sheriff's Department, and local fire personnel responded to the scene. 1 person sustained injuries and was transported to a nearby hospital for treatment, the report says. And again, they're just kind of talking about how they're grateful that no one was hurt. So it's kind of crazy, guys, that, the last boating incident that I can really think of in like the major tournaments happened last season at the end of the season. I can't think of the angler right now, but it was up on Champlain when he hit that floating dock and it ripped his motor right off. I don't know if you guys remember that. Right.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's a little crazy that major accidents happened for the three major tournament trails happen on the same morning. So we're going to go talk this one a little bit more serious. This one happened at the MLF event down at Smith Lake in Alabama. So 3 killed in boat crash during MLF event on Smith Lake. The Alabama Law Enforcement Agency has confirmed that professional angler Flint Davis was the operator of the nitro bass boat involved in the crash on April 16th during a Major League Fishing tournament event on Lewis Smith Lake that claimed the lives of 3 men on a center console boat. Davis was injured in the crash and was transported to Coleman Regional Hospital for treatment. John Clark, 44, of Coleman, and Jeffrey Little, 62, of Brandon, Mississippi, were aboard the center console and were thrown into the water by the collision. They both subsequently drowned. Authorities recovered their bodies near the Miller Flats area of Smith Lake. Joey Broom, 58, was also killed in the collision when he was struck by the nitro bass boat. Broom was pronounced dead at the scene. The operator of the center console, Gary W. Holcomb, 51, of Coleman, and passenger Luke H. Morgan of Albertville were injured but survived. They were taken to UAB Hospital for treatment. Authorities also confirmed that Davis was the only person aboard the Nitro Bass boat at the time. No information has been released about any pending charges against Davis. The MLF has also confirmed Davis's involvement on Wednesday. So they've been pretty quiet about this one. You know, and then this is just them making, you know, I'm not gonna LMLF for the angler Flint Davis from Lewisburg, Georgia and whatnot, and that's just them making statements. But I'll be 100% honest, there's no effing way that there's gonna be no charges against Flint Davis, which is super unfortunate. But you know, it's, you know, I operate one of these boats, and I will be the first one to tell you that you can get distracted very easily when I have two giant 12-inch screens right in front of my face. I have been distracted, knock on wood. I haven't had any close calls, and I hope I never do. It's all about paying attention, wearing those life vests. You just can't do. It's just super, super unfortunate. With these two crashes happening on the same day, I have a feeling that there will be some rule changes within operating vessels in these tournaments. My guess it will have to do with speed. You know, obviously you get these boats to get to and from where you need to go as fast as possible in order to get as much fishing time as possible. Yep. But don't forget, you're supposed to abide by the regulations of the lake. So everyone forgets about that. So I get it. I take that risk every time I hop in that boat. I go over the speed limit. You know, at times I will be the first one to admit that. I'm not above that. And, yeah, so super unfortunate. Yeah, just a tough situation. And I think Flint Davis he's got a lot of trouble nipping at his heels right now.
I'm sure. Like, yeah, that has got to be so difficult to swallow. Like that's tough, dude. I heard, so it just blows my mind that not only is there one horrific accident at one lake, but two in the same week. That is unbelievable, you know?
Yeah. And here's the thing. Accidents with bass boats happen quite often. But because they weren't some big tournament trail, we've talked about a couple of them here on the show in the headlines in the past. But to have them take place, and again, two of the big three tournament trails is like on the same day. It's like, you know, it's.
I have to wonder if folks are like reflecting on their own, like, oh Jesus, you know, I guess because you never think about these things, you know what I mean? Yeah. And this is, I would say this is like, I mean, just like it's like the same kind of conversation we've been having with like the way we complain about folks not wearing their PFDs when they're required to, like, you know what I'm saying? In smaller vessels, you know?
Yeah, the only thing I don't know if that center console, if it was idling, or it doesn't state if it was idling or if it was you know, traveling at the time.
I think they were there fishing because somebody that rode out before the accident seen him there and told his marshal that something's going to happen. That's a bad spot for that boat. And then they did some fishing and they got the message. And
and like, you know, I will tell you, my Facebook, you know, because I have a lot of like pro anglers and stuff, and it was around a corner. So that's the other thing I was going to say. So
bridge.
Apparently it was around a corner. There was fog in the morning, but apparently it had burned off by the time this accident had happened. Oh, okay. So that was kind of the excuse that people were making. Like I said, my Facebook just absolutely blew up with this.
Oh, I'm sure.
I didn't hear shit about the Lake Norman. What it was like 2 days later, you and I talked about it real quick, Bobby.
I was looking for details and I looked it up.
Yeah.
And I was like, EFL, what? I was like, I thought this
Yeah,
was
yeah. Thought it was like a error with the like news outlet or whatever, but yeah, no, they both happened like the same time. Yeah, so dude, it's tough. Like it's this one. Obviously, it obviously you don't want anybody to get hurt, but you know,
No.
six people were hurt in this crash. You know what I mean? I mean, three deceased. It's just you can't even comprehend it. You can't even comprehend it. I can't imagine what that. I believe it was a charter that or a guide that was the center console. So I can't imagine, you know, the demons that guy's kind of dealing with right now. I can't imagine the demons that Flint Davis is dealing with right now. But you know, again, it's just like riding a car. You take a risk every time you get in that car. You do something stupid, or you're going above the speed limit. You have a couple beers, whatever.
Yeah.
If you're going to be speeding, you're going to be going around corners at 60 plus mile an hour. You know, you're risking something bad to happen, and that's exactly what happened, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, it just especially like when you think about, like, I was reading South Detroit Fishing's comment here. He goes, it's the Wild West out there. They just got a handle on boozing on the water a few years ago. Like, when you factor that in there too, like, there are wreck boats that are just not even paying attention. You know what I mean?
So I will be the first one to tell you, I think the wreck boat like population is far more reckless than the bass boat population.
Oh yeah. But I'm talking about, like, you have people that are just like, they have no idea. Like the wreck boats, they'll just be on the water and they're not even aware that these boats are there going that fast. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they're not thinking like this is a bad spot to be. You know?
Yep.
Like they don't.
Yep.
It's just crazy. I'm surprised because you don't really hear about boat accidents like that.
No, you don't. And like Dave says here, you know, accidents are accidents. No one should be demonized for this. And I agree to an extent. You know, and this one's tough because we don't, like, you know, with James Air, you know, if he was speeding on the lake, yeah, cool, he got his ticket, whatever. Obviously, if it comes down that, you know, Flint Davis was doing something reckless, and that's kind of why this happened. You know, obviously we'll see from there, but hoping that it was just that, an accident, because dude, it could have been something. I mean, look what you see on the highway. It could have been something at 7 o'clock in the morning. It could have been sun glare. It could have been solar glare, something like that. And you just didn't see him. It could be a million different factors, but yeah, I'm sure we'll be following up on it when we hear more and go from there.
Yeah, that'll be something that's going to pop up a lot.
Yeah,
man, that is rough. That is rough. I think we kind of covered pretty much everything.
Yep.
Let me go just take a look at my notes real quick. Oh, there is one thing, and we're going to go ahead and message and talk about this now. Because I think what I'll do is I'll just do FTG following this. Yep. And then we'll do the outro and the Easter egg. I think we can probably keep it nice and tight.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the new segment.
Yes.
The new segment has a name, and the results came in, and the winning name is. Should I make them wait a little bit? No, I'd have to get my phone to get the thing. I'm just going to tell you guys. The name officially is the Live Well. It's the Live Well. It was up and down. There were some that were really freaking, like the dude shoot that didn't even make the finals. No, it didn't even make the final. Joe and I couldn't agree on that one. It was a good one. John Hagens was the author of the Live Well. So John Hagens will be winning a little prize pack from Jigs and Bigs. We're also, for everybody that had entered or taken the survey, we're also going to do a drawing on those. And we'll get you guys some Jigs and Bigs swag, and who knows, we'll have ourselves a good one. We'll get you all set up. Let's go ahead and wrap this segment here. And what we'll do is this: we'll just leave on FTG, and I'll put a little outro there. We'll handle that stuff later. But what a freaking unbelievable freaking show, dude! Like this first segment, it's 90 minutes long. This first segment, but it is jam packed, like absolutely awesome. Todd, this weekend has been awesome, dude. This is really, really great. You and I are going to be fishing again. This is not going to be the last time I am in Michigan. And hopefully the next time I am, this stuff will work.
Yeah. maybe I'll just have to come with you, drag the icon down there, and
I think you should.
We'll do it right there.
Oh, that's what I wanted to tell you about. So on the drive up here, I took a deep dive into catching up on a bunch of podcasts. I listened to a couple of really good episodes of the Whole Angler podcast, and I dove in. There's one episode specifically I was saving to listen on this trip, and it was the episode of Bass and Brews where Alex goes camping with Paul.
Okay.
And I will tell you this. Can you believe that those two jabronis haven't met in 4 years?
That's so crazy, dude. I didn't know that.
Crazy. It is crazy. They haven't met in 4 years. They've recorded this podcast. They got together at Jordan Lake, the same place I went to with Paul. They didn't fish at all.
Wow.
They didn't fish at all. So I texted the Jabberhammer, and I was like, Paul, listen, buddy, I got an idea. Let's do a little Jigs and Bigs Bass and Brews collab. We'll all go down to North Carolina.
Yeah.
We'll take the boats, and we'll all fish together. We'll make it fun. We'll make it interesting.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be awesome. And camping down there is a fucking trip, dude. You would love it. You would love it. Yeah, it's good shit. So I think that's always like, obviously, like we'll think like in a year. You know, next spring, nice way to get a little early fishing. Like maybe even like depending how winter plays out, maybe even late February.
Mm-hmm.
That could be good. You know.
Yep.
But it don't freeze there.
No, it doesn't.
Rip to the Bass Dope Baby A rig.
Oh,
again?
First cast, dude. First cast. I'm all stoked to pre-fish on Friday. I wind up and I go and I cast, and it breaks off when I stopped it. I don't know what kind of nick I had in there. Like, and I was
I mean, that was on your BFS, right?
No.
I was gonna say that would be way too heavy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely, man. That's 3/8. At least. Oh, yeah. At least
plus the heads.
Plus, yeah.
Depending on the.
It's. And yeah, I throw that on my chatterbait rod usually.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But I'm like,
wah.
Yeah, and I was like, I didn't have the heart to like waste that many jig heads.
Yeah.
Again. Like, I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm like, I kind of want to hold on to one for if I really, really feel like it's what's going to get the job done. I don't know that it would have gotten the job done. It was an expensive sign. It is.
Oh, shit. What did I lose yesterday?
I lost a couple of yours today.
I
lose?
lost a couple.
I lost a Vision 110 yesterday.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, got it hung on a stump.
That's good work, man. And
it was one of those things where, dude, I'm on the boat, so I like tried to get it in every direction, dude. I went and it just would not come out. And I'm like, all right.
I need to throw this up here from Nick. And then I need to follow this up. And I don't know why I think it's so funny. Your picture is hilarious. That's magical. Holy shit. I love that. Oh my God. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. I have a lot of editing to do. I'm going to make this happen.
Yeah.
It's gonna be absolutely beautiful. Jig heads, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this was interesting. I hope that my pre-celebrating for today's big holiday, 420, was not a hindrance in any kind of way, or if anything, it made things a little bit more interesting for you. Let's hope. Joe just lost confidence in Megabass. I never thought I'd see the day.
No, I love Megabass. I love Megabass. I love Megabass. The only thing that's been grinding my gears a little bit is I've been bending a lot of the hooks.
Ooh.
Maybe it's time to put that BKK box to use.
I was thinking the same thing.
Well, maybe a
Because
little bit.
I'm not going to use those fucking hooks for anything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean,
Oh,
they make good hooks,
They do.
But
They do.
You can change the sizes or whatever. Might fuck with the buoyancy, but who knows?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to
All right,
wrap
boys.
this one up, guys. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm going to try to clean this thing up, and you guys will have a show for Tuesday morning. Tuesday
Hell
morning.
yeah.
Can't make a promise about Monday night. I'll do the best that I can, but we'll see you guys. Have a great night.
See ya.
Freaking bananas, dude. Good stream. You guys are the best. Thank you.
Put that down. Put that down. Put that down.
What's going on, Jigs and Bigs? It's everybody's favorite asshole, John Hagen, yet again. Calling in an FTG on myself. What a fucking idiot. I got duped by AI. Usually I do research when I see videos, like the KBD video. And in that moment, like most people that are passionate about something, you get rubbed the wrong way. And you rush to judgment. So, do I apologize for saying what I said? No, I don't. Because that's just who I am. And even if the video was fake, there's at least 50 people for every AI video like that believes what was said. But I will say I will not be duped again. I will do my research in the future. And I will let shit ride. But since I was duped, I am calling in. I am this week's FTG. Fuck this guy. And get back to fishing. Thanks.
That is a powerful FTG right there, folks. John Hagen's calling himself out as the FTG for falling for the clickbait, the AI. Getting him all fired up over a topic that I think he's probably had to deal with for quite some time. So I can understand his situation. But I got to give good old John Hagen some credit. He's owning it. And I think that's pretty awesome right there. So you can tell that he is passionate about his opinion on the subject. And I think that's great. I fully support that. I will say that the way this whole initial FTG happened was so fast. It was about a week ago now, as I'm recording this segment. And I remember John sending me that TikTok. And I looked at it and I said, this is crazy. There's something about the account name that rings a bell. And I realized that we had that content creator as a guest on the show before. And I wanted to say I had known that they had been into posting like memes and AI generated content just for, engagement purposes, really. And, more like entertainment or comedy. And it
worked.
It worked, dude. It worked. Absolutely, Todd. It worked.
I fell for it. I got to give it to John for admitting.
It was pretty good. And, there's a lot of people that are like, well, if you look at the lips, I'm like, no. It is pretty solid. It really is pretty good. I was like, holy crap. And if it wasn't for that account name, I would have fallen for it right away. I was like, I know Jeremy creates some pretty crazy stuff. So
I don't have TikTok. I just listened to the show. I heard that. I totally fell for it. Got to give it to John for owning it.
Oh yeah, you got to give it to John. I think it's amazing that he, is just like stepped right up, and
He is passionate.
He reached out to me and was just like, "Hey, I'm going to call in the FTG on myself." Oh my God! And I was like, "Dude, you don't even need to worry about it. It's all good."
Sucks eating crow, man.
It does, but I mean, it is one of those things where I think you got to just go for it. So the content creator that initially posted it is Jeremy Siebold. We had Jeremy on the show before, really into getting his family involved with fishing and stuff. Like really, really decent dude. Puts together some pretty cool content too, and some tries to keep people just having fun and enjoying themselves. I'm all about that. His account is Siebold Squad Fishing, and you can go over where you got to scroll down on Instagram a little ways to find it, but yeah, that's where he posted it initially. And in there, I think that's the description where he says that it was AI. And man, unbelievable. But I got to give credit to John. That's pretty badass. I've thrown myself under the bus as an FTG before.
I do it all the time.
We can come back from it easily. I know that John will come back from this 100%. I think as for this show, it's been just a wild roller coaster ride. And as we are wrapping things up this week, folks, here at lovely Lake St. Clair in Michigan, I got to tell you guys that so the shit hit the fan earlier in the show, and you guys have probably noticed that there's been a lot of weird kind of audio stuff, like these rooms sound different or whatever. The reality of it is I'm piecing this show together in a bunch of different not ideal ways to put this out to make sure that it is available for you guys as close to its regular time as possible. So I apologize for any of the weird, wonky audio stuff or anything that you guys might be hearing, but I'm just trying to make the best of it here to deliver something on time for you. So again, we'll be working on it. Hopefully I can figure out what the hell's going on and get past it all and get back on it. There's backup plans. There's always backup plans. Anyway, guys, that's going to wrap this episode up of Jigs and Bigs. If you made it this far, you earned it. There is an Easter egg at the end here. You weigh in, let me know. I don't know. I had an idea and I riffed on it and I went somewhere and I don't know. It's a bit ridiculous. But Todd, again, thank you. So this weekend has been absolutely amazing.
Awesome, man.
Fantastic.
Thank you for coming out, being a long-time jighead. I appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely, dude.
There's nothing more
I would say if you guys are listening to this show and you want to check out some of what Todd's got going on, go to Fishing in the Sticks on Instagram. And, man, I'm telling you, we had an absolute blast, and this is not going to be the last time that he and I fished together for sure. You guys have yourselves a great one. We will see you in 7 days. More Jigs and Bigs goodness. Like we always say.
Tits and ass, smoke some grass.